Coming up on BCN today, the Alberta budget is out and it has some public sector and union workers unhappy. Plus, it's day 2 of talks between politicians and the Wet'suwet'en chief to resolve pipeline disputes that have sparked protests across the country. And it's Black History Month. The college and university celebrate our city's diversity.
Your Canada. Your Southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on this Friday. Lethbridge police are seeking the public's assistance to locate a missing 17-year-old boy. Caleb Big Swallow was last seen in Lethbridge on February 22nd. Efforts to locate him have been unsuccessful, and police are concerned for his well-being. Big Swallow is approximately 5'10" and 170 pounds and has ties to the Blood Reserve and Fort Macleod. Anyone who has seen Caleb or has information on his whereabouts is asked to call police at the number on your screen. The body of a 24-year-old woman was found on Highway 8 southeast of Cochrane on Thursday evening. The RCMP Major Crimes Unit has taken over the investigation. Yesterday, an autopsy was done in Calgary, and her death is being considered a homicide. The young woman from Calgary has been tentatively identified. However, her name will not be released at this time. The RCMP Major Crimes Unit are asking for public's assistance for any information in relation to this homicide. Please contact Cochrane RCMP at 403-851-8000 or your local police. The release of the 2020-21 budget will axe more than 1,400 public sector jobs and reduce overall operating funding for crucial public services by $813 million. Public sector's workers' compensation will take an estimated $610 million hit. Alberta Union of Provincial Employees President Guy Smith says, quote, "Just 2 days ago, the UCP said they were obsessed with creating jobs. Now we're seeing them kill more good full-time positions." He continued by saying, quote, "I've never seen a more two-faced government in power. Premier Kenney says he's for Albertans, but the reality is he's only for big business," end quote. Meantime, the province remains optimistic about oil and pipelines while committed to building up high-tech sectors. Total revenue is expected to be $50 billion.
We're on track with the 4-year fiscal plan that we laid out last fall with Budget 2019. We continue to make job creation and economic growth the #1 priority in our plan going forward. And we continue also to commit to Albertans that we will manage the province's finances responsibly. I believe that 2020 has the potential to be a turnaround year for the economy in this province.
So today's budget is a continuation of Jason Kenney's broken promise to Albertans. It does not create jobs. It puts people out of work. It attacks frontline services. And not only that, it represents the second consecutive UCB budget with a deficit larger than what was actually delivered in the NDP's last budget.
NDP finance critic and Lethbridge West MLA Shannon Phillips says she expects deeper cuts to health and education to make up for the low price of oil, which is now below $50 per barrel. The province budgeted for oil to be at $57 US for this year, with it rising to $63 in 2 years. The Alberta Teachers Association is giving the Kenney government's new budget a failing grade. ATA President Jason Schilling says 30,000 students will enter schools next year without necessary funding. He says that this means larger class sizes and less supports for learning. The Alberta Medical Association, meanwhile, says the budget includes devastating cuts to physician payments that will be harmful to doctors, the healthcare system, and most importantly, to patients. The Edmonton and Calgary Chambers of Commerce say they welcome the provincial government's new budget. The two chambers say it will bring directional stability and bold action needed to create jobs. Both groups say they support the continued path back to a balanced budget and dedication to economic diversification. The UCP is also looking at introducing a recall act whereby you can potentially fire your MLA, mayor, or city councilor if you don't like the job they're doing. Our legislative reporter, Tyler Dawson, has the details.
This is very much supposed to be sort of a democratic renewal thing. If you don't like your representative, you should be able to, get rid of them. I think where this could get interesting, could get fun, could get dramatic is to what extent this can be weaponized or used by various special interests to, muck around in politics outside of the election period.
Tyler Dawson will also have details on which capital projects the province is investing hundreds of millions of dollars into. That's coming up in the second half of our show. The federal and BC Indigenous Relations ministers emerged from day one of their meetings with the hereditary chiefs of the Wet'suwet'en First Nation yesterday, using words like productive to describe the talks. The hereditary chiefs are scheduled to meet with Carolyn Bennett and Scott Fraser this morning to try to resolve a pipeline dispute that has sparked national protests. Meantime, Wet'suwet'en people in Smithers, where their chiefs are meeting with the ministers, say their community has been silenced and they are asking for a place at the table. They're also saying the public attention brought to their community is having a negative effect on their people.
We are not allowed to go in there and see what their decision is. But it's not up to just them. It's up to the whole community. The matriarchs who were silenced here, who were stripped of their name, and that is wrong. They can't do that.
We need to build those healthy communication skills. We need to heal our people.
The first case of the new coronavirus has been confirmed in sub-Saharan Africa. It's concerning because it's the region with some of the world's weakest health systems. An Italian businessman who arrived in Nigeria on Tuesday from Milan fell ill the next day. Officials in Lagos, a city of 20 million people, are working to identify all of the man's contacts since he arrived in Nigeria. Public health officials are retracing the steps of a Northern California woman believed to be the first person in the U.S. to contract the coronavirus without traveling internationally or being in close contact with anyone who had it.
What happened in Solano County did not surprise anybody. I think the only thing respectfully that surprised folks was that it didn't happen sooner. Nothing so far has surprised us, nothing.
Step by step, we look at where they've been, and who they might have been in direct communication with.
We spoke to the director of the CDC moments ago, and he assured us, without giving a specific number, that our capacity would be substantially expanded.
I think people should go on their day-to-day lives with some common sense.
Some global stock markets are set to close out their worst week since the depths of the financial crisis in 2008 because of worries about the new coronavirus. Germany's DAX skidded as much as 5% before stabilizing, while the Tokyo and Shanghai markets closed down 3.7% lower. Outbreaks in Italy, South Korea, Japan, and Iran are fueling fears the virus is turning into a global threat that might derail trade and industry. Wall Street is set for more losses a day after posting its biggest one-day drop in 9 years. The owner of the Movie Mill in Lethbridge has joined other independent theater owners expressing concern that they're not receiving popular films in a timely manner. Len Benning, who hosts the Movie Mill Minute on Bridge City News, says a petition on change.org has generated over 13,000 signatures supporting the ability for independent operators to show films at the same time as a Cineplex.
Yeah, a petition was raised by the Real Theatre in Vancouver, and they're voicing what we've felt for years, in that Cineplex was 75% of the market, wields unfair dominance over the product supply. And things have gotten slower in the last couple of years. We used to get films 3 to 6 weeks after release. Now it's sometimes 3 to 6 months after. And with streaming and DVD breathing down our throats, it's becoming more and more difficult to run a successful business. If we can't have film, we ultimately won't be in existence.
Benning says he's also concerned with the takeover of Cineplex by the UK's Cineworld, saying the theater business may even become more competitive, making it tougher for smaller businesses like his to survive. Is community support for children essential? That was the topic of discussion this week at SACPA.
Raising children and raising healthy families is a community issue. The key thing that I want to bring is an informed conversation about the decisions that are being made about supporting children and families, and really be a unifying driver. Not be having a divisive conversation, but a conversation from the joint perspective of that supporting children and families is a necessity. How do we do it best?
The province of Alberta and City of Lethbridge have recently implemented changes to child and family services, offering more protection for kids in our community. Parent-teenager relationships can be challenging at the best of times. Parents offer structure in the house, and sometimes teens don't want to play within that structure. Lissy Reno is a 20-year-old who wrote a book on how to smooth over some issues between mom, dad, and their teens. She says it's important to continue building the relationship and to do so through effective communication.
What the world is going to say is to teenagers is you should talk to everyone else. You should talk to your friends. You should talk to your mentors. You should talk to your youth group leaders. But the last person in the world to talk to is your parents, because there's that fear, that shame and embarrassment. And so I think if parents can really work through that and help build the relationship of trust and openness, that would be so helpful in navigating all of those relationships.
Lissy will have more advice on how teens and parents can strengthen their relationship coming up later on in our show. A GoFundMe campaign has been set up to support a woman from Okotoks who lost her husband and 2 children in a highway crash over the weekend while they were on a road trip in BC. According to reports, 47-year-old Mike Coughlin was driving with his 2 sons, Liam and Quinn, when he missed a curve in the road and went off a steep embankment near Kamloops. Police say Mike was dead when they arrived on the scene. His 8-year-old son, Liam, died on the way to the hospital, and his other son, 5-year-old Quinn, was put on life support but later died. The fundraiser has already raised more than $87,000 to support the widow, Erin Coughlin. Well, we have a mainly sunny weekend ahead of us, and we could see the mercury rise all the way to 15 degrees today. I'll have your weekend forecast right after this break. Stay with us.
Today's weather highlights are brought to you by Aqua Steam Services. For award-winning carpet and upholstery cleaning, experience the clean difference with Aqua Steam Services.
And welcome back. Here's a look at our Friday weather forecast. Not a bad day it's going to be today for a Friday, which is lovely. We are going to be seeing a possible high of 15 degrees with some wind, though. We could see gusts up to 60 per hour, and overnight tonight up to 80 Our overnight low tonight is 3 degrees. And as we get into Saturday, also sunny and windy conditions. For Sunday, mix of sun and cloud with a high of 2 degrees. Possible showers are expected on Monday with a high of 7, and then climbing to 8 degrees on Tuesday with lots of sunshine. 6 degrees is the expected high for Wednesday, and then up to 12 on Thursday. A mainly sunny and windy week ahead of us. Not bad, if I have to say so myself. March is definitely coming in like a lamb. The average highs for this time of year, 3 degrees. The average lows, -9. We're definitely above that range. The high temperature on this day was 19 degrees. That was in 1992. And the lowest temperature was -32. That was in 1962. The sun rose this morning at 7:17 a.m. and it will be setting at 6:10 p.m. And I know I'm really noticing a difference as I'm driving to work in the morning now in the sunlight instead of in the dark. So let's look to the west coast. Showers expected today in Victoria and Vancouver with highs of 9 and 8 degrees. A lovely 10-degree day expected in Calgary and 6 degrees up in Edmonton. A mix of sun and cloud across Alberta today, and lots of sunshine expected today in Saskatchewan. 5 degrees is expected to be the highs in both Regina and Saskatoon. Winnipeg could see a high of -5 with a mix of sun and cloud. No snow, though. That's not too bad. No, the snow is actually over on the east here. Toronto is expecting some flurries today with a high of -3, -7 expected in Ottawa with snow as well. And Montreal will see a mix of sun and cloud with -5 being their high. No snow, though. Finally out of that snowfall warning there, but we are still expecting that front coming in from the United States, which is affecting eastern Canada with lots of snow. Fredericton's high today, 2 degrees up in Halifax. 1 degree also also expected today in Charlottetown, and same thing for St. John's, Newfoundland. Lots of snow throughout Atlantic Canada today. Coming up next, Hal Roberts has the ski report. Take it away, Hal.
Here is the BCN ski report. Let's see how much fresh snow there's been over the past 24 hours. No new snow reported at Marmot Basin, but they do have a 131 centimeter base. No new snow at Castle Mountain, but there's a 90 centimeter base. Sunshine Village has seen 8 centimeters of new snow with a 170 centimeter base. No new snow at Whistler, but they have a healthy 250 centimeter base. Panorama's had 2 centimeters of fresh powder and an 88 centimeter base. There's been 6 centimeters of new snow at Whitefish and a 336 centimeter base. Lake Louise has seen 4 centimeters of new snow and a 148 centimeter base. No new snow at Mount Norquay, but they do have a 74 centimeter base. Nikiska has had 2 centimeters of fresh powder and a 132 centimeter base. That's it for the BCN Ski Report. Be safe and have fun on the slopes this weekend.
Some of us have 3 loves in our lives, our spouse, and Ben and Jerry. Today's daily life hack will show you how to ensure suitors 2 and 3 will treat you just as well as your number 1 does. When buying ice cream, please press on the top of the container. If it's solid, it's been properly stored. If it depresses, that means that it's thawed and has been refrozen. That's some interesting advice there. There you go. That's been your daily life hack. And that ice cream will be a nice treat to enjoy after a night on the town. One thing you may want to check out is what's on the silver screen. To help you decide, here is your Movie Mill Minute.
Frozen 2. Elsa the Snow Queen has an extraordinary gift, the power to create ice and snow. But no matter how happy she is to be surrounded by the people of Arendelle, Elsa finds herself strangely unsettled. After hearing a mysterious voice call out to her, Elsa travels to the enchanted forests beyond her kingdom, an adventure that soon turns into a journey of self-discovery.
That's normal. Where are we?
How did you get in the forest?
The mist parted for us.
Impossible.
Where did you learn magic?
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. When it's discovered that the evil Emperor Palpatine did not die at the hands of Darth Vader, the rebels must race against the clock to find out his whereabouts. Finn and Poe lead the Resistance to put a stop to the First Order's plans to form a new empire, while Rey anticipates her inevitable confrontation with Kylo Ren.
Long have I waited. And now, you're coming together. Is your undoing.
Two members with Lethbridge College Kodiak's men's volleyball have made the all-conference team. Fifth-year outside hitter Carter Hansen was named an all-star, as was second-year player Quinn Buchanan. The Kodiaks hosted the ACAC Men's Volleyball Awards banquet last Wednesday to help kick off the evening. Head coach Greg Gibbos says the two are both dynamic players.
Super exciting to see those two guys get rewarded. They're two athletes who spend a lot of time really working hard in the gym, really trying to be good teammates, and really trying to be leaders in our community. So for them both to get recognized individually, Carter as a fifth year and for the second time, and Quinn for the first time as a second year, are two really exciting things, right? We're really excited about the youth that's in our program, and Quinn's a good representation of that, you know, being a second-year athlete and already working his way to a league all-star.
The men's volleyball championships began this week. The Kodiaks' first action was last night in a quarterfinal game where they beat the Lakeland Rustlers 25-18. Tonight they move on to the semifinals where they take on SAIT. February is Black History Month. Lethbridge College and the University of Lethbridge celebrated the city's diversity and honored the legacy of Black Canadians from both the past and the present. BCN's Loris Alexander attended the festivities and has the story.
Thursday morning, Lethbridge College celebrated Black History Month with dance, food, and more importantly, a chance to learn about African cultures.
Sometimes we go on about like how people don't know about other cultures and all, but we don't do that much to showcase it and show other people. And how are they going to know if they don't see it, you know what I mean? And I think that's why things like this is really great, because you get a chance to show other people, and then when they get intrigued and entertained by the little things, then they come and ask more questions.
The organizer of the event wishes that some of the classification and stereotypes about Black people would no longer exist, and further states that it dates back to the 1600s.
We've had a history here within Canada and the United States, if you want to put it to that broad context, where blackness has been equated to being a criminal. And when you think about the history of slavery as well, where blacks were running from being enslaved, those freed people that were trying to free themselves were classified as criminals. So you can see today that for some can argue that some of this classification continues today.
The University of Lethbridge also celebrated Black History Month Thursday morning with speakers talking about their cultural experiences. For Bridge City News, I'm Loris Alexander.
You may have the opportunity to fire your local politician. Our legislative reporter, Tyler Dawson, has details next on the UCP's Recall Act. That interview is up shortly. And if you would like to watch our interviews online, check us out on bridgecitynews.ca or on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Now here's a look at events happening in and around your community.
Here's your Bridge City News community calendar. The Leap of Faith Dessert Night in support of the Elam Society for Senior Citizens Care of Lethbridge is taking place Saturday, February 29th at 7 p.m. at Elam Village's Grand Hall. The evening will feature an array of delicious desserts, music, and drama in celebration of faith and hope. For more information, visit elamlethbridge.org. The Lethbridge Soup Kitchen is holding their second annual sponsored walk on Sunday, March 1st from 2 to 4 p.m. at Henderson Lake. Anyone wishing to walk, please register at the Soup Kitchen by calling Bill Ginther at 403-320-8688 or email lethbridgesoupkitchen@gmail.com. All funds raised at this walk will go to the Lethbridge Soup Kitchen's General Operating Fund. After the walk, hot soup will be served along with prizes for various categories. Are you a Christian business owner who wants to connect with like-minded people? The Canadian Christian Business Federation is launching a Lethbridge chapter, and they invite leaders from all walks of life to a networking breakfast and presentation on Tuesday, March 24th, beginning at 7:15 a.m. at Smitty's on Mayor McGrath Drive South. Hear from guest speaker Canadian Christian Business Federation Executive Director Keith Knight. To confirm your attendance, email tony.ccbf@gmail.com. And that's your Bridge City News community calendar.